Hello guys, welcome to part 4 of my review. So for this part, I'm going to focus on the negative parts about this game, as well as things that I just don't like, including a particular level. But first, before we get all into that, let's go see the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard. So the Dutchman's Graveyard has never really held a strong place in my thoughts surrounding this game. The level itself certainly feels different than the rest of the game, and traversing around it is different and fun. The music is kick-ass too, and it is pretty cool that you get to go on some floating ships. Certainly the best part of the level is when you get backstabbed by the Flying Dutchman. In the game, you're used to the do this for me and I'll give you this golden spatula formula. So when you hear that the Flying Dutchman said that he's going to keep his golden spatula after you get his ship back, you're surprised and you're fucking pissed off. And not just you, the player, God Queen Sandy is fucking pissed off too. So as Sandy, we fight the Flying Dutchman, and he's going to be shooting his eye beams at you, and all you have to do is avoid them and rope-a-doe his tail while flames come out of his nostrils. So, you kick his ass, give him a soap boat, get your reward, and then have an epic high five. Overall, my thoughts about this level have changed over the years. Like, in the beginning, I used to not like it, but now I like the music, I like the ambiance, I definitely like the boss battle at the end, so I'd say that this level is alright. However, there is one level that I didn't like back then when I was a kid, and still don't like now. Kelp Forest sucks. What's up with that background? Oh yeah, that's one of the benign goofs that you'll find in this game. Sometimes the sky will just decide to go on a break. It's fitting actually. Even the sky doesn't want to be around this shitty level. So the main goal of this level is that these children got lost and you gotta find them. The areas, although not large, look the same. It can be very confusing. At least they were for me. So past the first area, we have to throw some stone tikis onto these stone scales in order to move on. So it seems simple enough until you start going in circles over and over and over again. Past the tiki section, we enter a cave where we need to recover Barnacle Boy's energy crystals. So it seems simple enough, but then you find out, oh no, we can't just have fun and travel through a cave. That would be terrible. Instead, we have to go back and forth through the caves and switch between SpongeBob and Patrick in order to do things that only they can do. If I could switch between SpongeBob and Patrick by the push of a button, or hell, even through the start screen, then I could enjoy this back and forth. But when I have to travel all the way back to the bus stop every time I need to switch, I'm only gonna get pissed off. So you figure out how to get out of the cave, and then you meet Mermaid Man again. So Mermaid Man invites you to beat his time challenge on the vines, and if you win, he'll give you a golden spatula. So you try, and it's just so fucking difficult. You feel so slippery on these vines, and you are bound to fuck up a lot. As a kid, this is the furthest that I got for a long time. This was a barrier that I just couldn't get past. After many tries as a kid, I was able to slide down and beat Mermaid Man's time. And when I finally did it for the first time, I knew that I never wanted to do it again. I hated going down these vines. So I hate the slide challenge because it's so difficult, but eventually I found out that I was sliding wrong. You see, you're supposed to hold back on the joystick so that you can slow down and navigate through the quick turns. It seems so obvious, right? Well, why didn't I know this as a kid, and why did I forget about it even up to now? It's because you never really have to slow down for turns ever in this game when you're sliding. It isn't until this slide challenge that it's pretty much required to use if you don't want to spend hours doing it over and over and over again. So after you beat these slopes, you return to Mermaid Man and you claim your reward. Overall, this is my least favorite level of this wonderful game, and I hate this level so much, in fact, that through my multiple playthroughs, I work my hardest getting the golden spatulas, getting the socks, and getting the shiny objects in every other level, just so I can avoid this one. Alright, so we finished the last 2 levels of this game before the final bout, so let's go look at some goofs. So the shadows underneath plankton can look strange at times and bent out of shape. And right here we have a texture goof with Arf, and here's another one with this guy standing right here. I also found a pretty scary one with SpongeBob in the Flying Dutchman's graveyard, and I also found a pretty funny one here too, where Sandy is talking to the Flying Dutchman off screen, and the Dutchman from the boss fight is still hanging around in the background. My next complaint involves the bungee jumping. Sometimes objects will stick to SpongeBob, and in one case I had SpongeBob's eyeball sticking to his shoe. The last complaint that I'm going to point out goes all the way back to downtown Bikini Bottom. So in that level, Larry needs help replacing his antenna with his shiny new one, and he asks you to do it for him, and if you do it, you can keep the old one, which just happens to be a golden spatula. My complaint here is that Larry doesn't actually give you the shiny new antenna in order to replace it. You just run off and get the golden spatula, and you don't really change it for him. A new antenna doesn't even replace where the golden spatula is at, so as a kid I kept thinking that I was doing something wrong. I thought that there was somewhere else that I needed to go to, and I just wasn't figuring it out. I mean, can you blame me? In Jellyfish Fields, the jellyfish jelly that you need to obtain for Squidward is actually tangible. It actually exists, and you can know whether or not you have it. However, at downtown Bikini Bottom, you don't see the new antenna, there's no indication that you have it, and you don't do anything except to just get the golden spatula. The only thing that changes is that Larry thanks you for the work that you really didn't do. Alright, so that ends my complaints in this part of my review, and just to be clear, so everybody knows, if they don't already know already, these complaints come from a place of love. This is one of my favorite games of all time, and there's only one game in my scale of favoritism that I like more than this one, and that's Miss Pac-Man. So, out of all the games I've ever played, this game is my second favorite game. It's got some problems, so I'm not going to ignore them just because it's my number 2. Alright guys, so that ends this part of my review, so make sure to come back next time in part 5, where we're going to put an end to the Duplicatotron and save Bikini Bottom. See ya.
Look at that guy, with that big square head and those short shorts. That's the most hideous thing I've ever seen!
Well, fuck you too.